This is brunch. It is 1 pound ground beef, 80/20, 3 hard-boiled eggs cooked in the beef fat, and this should be pretty much plenty of food to sustain me through the day.
Good afternoon. My afternoon. It is 12:50, and I don't know if you can see from looking outside of my windows that the Canadian fires, the smog, the smoke, the mist is still very strong. It is drawing my sinuses to an itchy state, blowing my nose a lot, which that used to be the case when I would eat ketogenically, and I used to always say that that was from the glyphosate that was in the vegetables, and that's how my nose feels, itchy and runny. Eyes, a very little bit. I think if I'm outside for extended periods of time, then my eyes would be probably more affected. But all the windows at the house are closed, locked up tight as a drum, so that when I get home, I have air-conditioned air, house air, if you will. See, looking out my rearview mirror, to me, it looks very ground foggy, if you can see that. The topic of today is when you're faced with working overtime, do you consider overtime? Or do you say, well, I'm just going to kick back and relax for the weekend? Now, I have two schools of thought for me. Granted, it's my first week back to work, so I probably should take it a little bit easy. Don't get me wrong, the doctor limited me to being able to sit and stand during the course of my day. So as my leg starts to throb or it starts to heat up, that's when I'll sit down, or spasms, for example. So we have 8 hours of overtime, generally speaking, at our job. And I do have the common sense to know that if my condition ever gets to the point of extreme pain, well, then I have to call it a day and go home. But if given the opportunity to right now make home and take home over $1,000 a week, $1,100 a week take home, yeah, I am all for that. So next week I'm going to play that by ear. Will I work maybe 10-hour days and not work on Saturday and then have Saturday and Sunday to rest up? That's my thought process. Some people are thinking that right now, because of the no tax on overtime, that you get that in your check right away. And au contraire, that is not the case. You'll get that back when you itemize your taxes at the end of the year, of course. Hey, I gotta make a quick talk about the night when I go home. I know I talked a little bit about the smoke, but at night, these deers are all on the side street. I've been taking, not taking the freeway, and taking this state highway here, SS road, the back road, if you will. And I just saw, well, we always call it, the deer are sleeping on the side of the road. That means they perished on their side. And I seen a lot more of those. People are obviously bumping them off because they're running in the middle of the road. The deer are running in the middle of the road, and you have to pay attention. That's like when I have you guys on my dash, I pay attention to the road. I have my sunglasses on. It may look like I'm looking at you, and that is not. You are attached to my dash and not my windshield, and my eyes are focused on the road and on the deer. I don't see a lot during the day though. At night, I'm a wee bit more cautious. If I take the freeway, I don't see a lot. 53, our freeway. I don't see a lot of deer because there's not a lot of food on an interstate or a freeway. There's the food that's out here, the beans, the soybeans, the corn, etc. So during the daylight, I see the sleeping deer on the side of the road. So I'm thinking that the deer are probably freaked out because of the smoke, no doubt. Fight or flight, is that for the animals too? I know that during deer hunting season, by our house, we're a burn community. So my neighbors don't exactly take kindly to having me burning any garbage or having campfires during deer hunting season because that scares the deer away. So I know that full well. So I just wanted to put my 2 cents out there to see if those of you in the northern states, Midwest, northern states, Washington, Michigan, etc., are experiencing this Canadian smoke in the skies. Okay, so back to the overtime. Boop, squirrel. It was a squirrel moment. There are people at work that just frown upon overtime. They just want to work the bare minimum, and they'd rather not work overtime. You know, they're happy making $700-800 a week on their 40 hours, and that's fine. But think of it this way: I've been gone for months, so yeah, could I use the money? Absolutely. It'll still go on. Doctor visits. Mayo Clinic wants to be paid, if you know what I mean. I have reached my max as far as medical is concerned. So everything that I have done from this point forward is considered free, shall we say, because I've bumped out at the max. So this year, as I do every year, I have the colonoscopy, and the reason that they do colonoscopies every year for me is because of my mother dying of colon cancer. So what used to be a 5-year thing is now a yearly thing. I'm having that done the end-ish of August, and I have to have off for all day while I do colonoscopy. Because, you know, they put you under general anesthesia. They don't want you waking up during the procedure. Nevertheless, at the end of my day, I don't want to go into work feeling any sort of groggy from general anesthesia, if you know what I mean. So, do you work overtime? Now, a lot of business owners, when I was a realtor, my overtime was every day. I would start my morning at 5 a.m. and sometimes I'd end my day at 1 in the morning. It just depended on the customer and the client that I have and my contractual obligations that I have had. When I was a business owner and I operated for the VA hospital, Veterans Administration, I'd run the ambulance. We also had a contractual obligation with Milwaukee County and Milwaukee County Medical Examiner and Title 19. I literally looked for my customers. We took our customers. Customers wanted, dead or alive. That was our motto, literally and figuratively, because that's how we got paid. And I was always used to working overtime. When I started at this place 17 years ago, because I worked for Manpower, that's the name of a temporary agency. It has nothing to do with sexes, Manpower. It was where we would have gobs and gobs of people. We were so busy. Nowadays, not so much. Now, our company is not very automated, but they still have manpower, because if they pay Manpower people, for example, $12 an hour, and they pay me $25 an hour, isn't it beneficial to hire a Manpower person, a young person, as opposed to me? Just common sense, you gotta think it that way. And you don't have to pay the benefits, the health insurance, all the benefits you do a normal employee. Whereas when I was a realtor, for example, well, I had to have my own insurance. I bought my own insurance through Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I paid the monthly premiums. That's how it is in business. But the perks nowadays of working for companies, you have to take into consideration the hours that you work, the benefits that you get. Do they have matching 401ks? Do they offer health insurance, life insurance, dental, yada yada, all the things? It's not only the hourly salary that you consider. So this weekend, yes, I will be busy. I look at it this way. I will work Saturday, that's tomorrow, for an 8-hour shift. And at the end of my shift, I'll probably go into Eau Claire. I'm away from the freeway by about 10 miles from the freeway. So I'll continue on, go to Eau Claire, do whatever piddly weekly shopping. I know I need grass-fed butter. And while I'm there, using the gas to go there, I'm going to go to Saturday church at 5 o'clock, as opposed to going home and then going back out again and doing another 40-mile round trip. So everything is relative. Jack is going to see his daughters this weekend. The oldest daughter of the youngest child, Lisa, Savannah's her name, she has a graduation. She's graduating from high school. So that's what he's going to do, because I will be working. So it is what it is. He asked about me going, and I said, no can do. So he'll be gone today and tomorrow, leaving me in my wild, crazy life of studying for my schooling and eating meat and working. Well, of course working. So that's it for me, folks. I am here at the job. Thanks for driving me into work. I appreciate it. Take care, everybody, and I will talk to you tomorrow. I'm going to close out the day because I have nothing else to say. And I had that mammoth breakfast today. So there's the backup beeper. Take care, everybody. Talk to you tomorrow, Saturday. Cheers.